Hi there, very good evening. Welcome back to this career development program. Tonight is the first session, and I'm trying to name this entirety of your career. I have a reason to say this. Then I'll be explaining why I named it this way, entirety of career. Let me go from this end. And as usual, I take this to discuss this career. I discuss the stages of every single life in this world. Now we all know a baby arrives in the world like this, naked, vulnerable, ignorant, and the baby is naked always, and he doesn't worry he's naked, and he is vulnerable. Every single thing he see, if that is not comfortable to him, he cries, and he is vulnerable, and he is ignorant. He doesn't worry who is around. He does what he does, and he wants what he wants. That is how his life is. That is his first day, maybe for another 1 or 2 years time. That is how he is, and then he would start changing from that point. Now, a human being in average, they live for about 75 years, maybe 10 years, plus 10 years, minus in between, or some people, they die very early, premature, as we call it, and you have a lifespan like this. Now, what happens is people, they spend their life throughout these 75 years the way they want, and they call some part of this life career development. Now, when I'm calling it career, all of us, we mean a job, starting a job, going to a university, get a qualification, starting a job, and earn some money and retire. That is your career in most of our lives. And some people, they call it a sporting career, cricketing career, football career, public speaking career. But we all have a misunderstanding here. What is the meaning of career, and what is the meaning of entirety of this career? So let me explain that in coming slides. Let me come back to these slides. Now, when you start your life from the 0 day up to the 20 years, in other words, until you qualify or until you complete your school education, that is what I'm calling up to 20 years, around 20 years or 18, 19 years of age. You are full of joy, you have holiday, you have leisure, pleasure, and you are not responsible for anything, and others are responsible for you. We wish all the kids are the same. There are very critical childhood lives here as well, but I'm talking about an average child. They get all of this up to their 20 years, they get all of this what they want. And when they complete their 20 years in that degree, start a career and start a qualification, complete that in 3 years time, start earning, starting a job. And they work for an organization for a boss up to 65, 68 years of age, and which is the longest spell in your life, around 45 years. 20 to 65, you work for a boss as an employee because you wanted a career. 45 years of life minimum, maybe more. And after that, you have a hope that I want to retire. I'll be retiring when I'm 65, and I'm going to enjoy my life for the rest of the life. I unfortunately had to deliver this message after 65 of 5 years of age. Your body would not support you to enjoy anything you wanted to have. So in my understanding, if you are on the wrong career during this 20 to 65 years, 45 years of time, you are committing suicide. That is what I understand. Because when you do things during this time is what is going to make you to depart the world as a surplus personnel or a bankrupt personnel. People, they leave this world, they depart this world with some surplus, because the baby is born. When the baby is born, we say the baby is cute, beautiful girl, or a cute, beautiful boy. That is what we say. We never say the baby, a baby doctor was born, a baby engineer was born. We never say that. We say a baby is born. But what happens is during the lifetime of you develop a career that ends with as a president, as a champion, as a businessman, sometimes, unfortunately, as a criminal, as a debtor, as a beggar, that way. The reason why you end up in either way, as a surplus person or a bankrupt person, is totally depending on the career you have. That is what it is happening during your 20 to 65 years of age. And this is where we make mistakes, otherwise we do the right thing. Let's have a look at what we do there. Now, when I'm calling it career, we all have an idea, the money you earn, the qualification you get, and the job you work for. That is what the career is about. In my understanding, your career is not limited to that. It is the entirety of all the areas of life. Let me tell you this, in your life, you have your business part, and you have your finance part, you have your education part. These are the only three areas we consider. Otherwise, we interpret when we call career, you say your job, your qualification, your money. That's all. There is nothing more than that. But have you seen there are people, they are very good in business and they are very poor in relationship? Have you seen people, they are very good in politics and they are so poor in their family life? Have you seen that? I have seen people in a different way, that I have seen footballers, soccer stars on the top of the industry. At a point after 10 years, when they retire from that industry, they turn Royal Mail postman, a football star, soccer in the UK. After 10 years of his retirement, he turned a Royal Mail postman. We have seen political stars, they are on top of their career at a point, and later in life, they committed suicide. We have seen that. Bollywood stars, we have seen, they are on the top of the industry at a time, and later in life, they come to the streets to file bankruptcy. We have seen boxers, rich on the rich. They have made enough of money during their career, and when they leave that point, they become poor. They start filing bankruptcy to say sorry to the bank they borrowed the money from. So my point is, what is the point of being a top class personnel in a career? When that career is over, you come to the street. So this is where we make mistake, in my understanding. What I say is, your career is not limited to the money, the business you are in, the education or the skill you have. It is all about everything in your life. It is about your relationship. It is about your spirituality. It's about your social life, your physical condition, your lifestyle, and so on. So the reason why I'm taking here is this: you have to develop a career with a balance in everywhere, so that you can get a life wheel or your career wheel like this, a good shape. This wheel can move on the road very smoothly. This wheel can move on the road very smoothly. But if you have a wheel like this, career imbalance wheel, where your education is very good, but your business is poor, your physical condition is sowing, you're mentally sick, and you don't have the physical strength to go on a holiday, but you have money in your bank. What are you going to do with that? This is where I'm calling the career imbalance. Career imbalance. If you have this kind of condition, it is not going to help you in any term, because you're focusing only in one area or two. That's all. The rest of the areas are getting disabled because you don't work on them. So tonight we have a concept that your career is not limited to the education, your job, or finance. It is covering every single area of your life. You have to develop a career with its entirety. Every part of your life is part of your career. So let me go further. Look at this. Now, if you are a personal and if you work on some area where you don't work on your physical area, in that case, you may be having 10 extra kilos in your body. If you have this, the cost of this is too much. You may be looking 15 years older than what you should be. You may be spending 3 weeks in hospital per year. You might be losing your promotion. You may die 15 years, 10 years, or 5 years early, premature death. You may lose your earnings because your productivity will be lost by 15% because of your obesity. and you may be losing your partner because you don't look attractive to her, or maybe him, and you may have spent extra $1,000 on your medical bill. These are all costs that may cost you your pocket. But the biggest cost I'm talking about here, if you don't work on your physical in your career, the burden you give to your family. If you fall sick, if you fall diabetes, if you fall with blood pressure, your family members, your kids, and the rest of the whoever responsible for you, they have to spend their energy, their time, their money, and they emotionally lose a lot. So it is very important for you to work on your physical condition, to be a personal, giving no burdens to the rest of the family members. So the biggest cost, if you are 10 kilo extra weight in your body, the cost is too much. I'm just discussing few of them. The biggest burden is this, the biggest loss, the cost is this, the burden you give to the others. If you have a obese person at home, you have to go to your office, come back in the evening, you have to accompany him or her to the hospital. So part of your career, work on your body. Is just an example if you don't work on one side of your career. And the next message, if you take this is again another good message too. If you severely work on one area, let's say you work on your qualification, you work on your education, and you work on your business, and you work on your money, and you build a big building, and you park 3-4 cars in your car park, you have your own swimming pool, and you have your own garden around. Now, my message is, if you don't work right on your family life, if you don't work right on your relationship, if you don't have kids to play around, who do you share all these wealth with? Big question again. So your career is not only the business, not only the money, not only the finance. With those, there are many other things to accompany. Keep this in mind. So that is what I'm using, the entirety of your career. It is not limited to your qualification and the job based on the finance. It is everything. Now, let me take this example in here. Tonight, in fact, today, I learned one message in a WhatsApp group where I have certain professionals. One guy posted a message. The message was that one mother, single mother in India, she has made her 6 daughters doctors. 6 daughters doctors. Now, if you have a daughter in your country, it's a big burden to you to hand her over to her husband. You have lots of financial commitments. Now, look at his mother, a smart mother, a sharp mother, 6 daughters been made doctors in India. They are all working for Indian healthcare services. Now, he posted that mother's story. Now, when one of the other guys saw that message in the group, he posted another message saying that I'm living in a city where I have my neighbor, and father and mother, they are teachers, English teachers, and they have 3 sons. They made all 3 sons doctors, and they're all working for healthcare sector in Sri Lanka for the government. And when I saw that message, I remembered in my batch there was a friend of mine. In his family, there are 5 kids, and out of that 5 kids, 4 of them are doctors. And the last kid, I don't know, he's not a doctor, I know, but I don't know what he is, but he's in a good profession as well. So now, this is the career of your parenting. That is the message I'm trying to tell you. If you're a good father, earning a lot of money, bringing lots of wealth and the cars and the dinners, holidays to your family, it is not enough. You know, it is not not only the parenting, it is about growing your kids, raising your kids, qualifying your kids, handing them over to the world in the right context. So the poor mother, not that educated mother of parents, if they can do such things, this is what we have to learn from them. Parenting, it is career. It is, we ignore that, in fact. That is why I wanted to bring this message in. Now, you see, if you are a father, it is part of your career. You got to know many things what your son wants to know. Your son asks you so many questions connected to this technology. I'm experiencing it these days. And the guy asks so many questions. I don't have answers for many of those. Most of those questions, I don't have the answer. So what I do, if we ask any answer, I tell him, I'm not Google, please Google. Otherwise, let me Google it with you. We together find out the answer because I don't know. If I don't accompany him finding an answer, what happens? He is going to find another guy who knows the answer, and he's going to discuss about me with that guy, saying my father or his father is an idiot. He doesn't know many things that I want to know. He doesn't have answers of many questions I have. If that is the context, what happens is you're losing your kid to someone you don't like. So you're losing your parenting career here. Can you afford to lose your son or daughter to someone? No, right? So your career is not only into business, finance, and education, it is into everywhere. Parenting, your relationship, your family, it is part of your career. So in my career, I have done some education, done some learning, have some experience in this area, how to develop people in terms of business, in terms of education, in terms of finance. That I have got some qualification and some experience. So you can ask me, otherwise I'm little qualified enough to advise you, consult you on that. The other area, lifestyle, the physical area, I'm not a gym, or I'm not a physical gym coach. I don't know that. And I'm not a spiritual coach to advise you on how to get better with your goat. I'm not into that. So I don't have much of an idea, but I have an idea about what I could do. So I'm going to touch in this entirety of this career in all these three areas, mainly how you can develop your business, your education, your finance, later areas in your career. But the rest of it, I am going to, I would say I'm not going to ignore that, but I'm not going to touch it in depth. But it is your responsibility to find out something, someone, somewhat, to work on those areas as well. That is when you are covering your entirety of your career. Otherwise, you're going to be weak in these areas and you may be better in the other area. Okay, so your life is not limited to this. Your definition for career is not into business, education, and finance. It is into every single thing. So you have to consult the specialist on those areas, and let me advise you on how to develop your business, your education, and finance in this course. Now, I'm going to talk on this education first. Now, I have two words in here to understand. Number one is qualification. Number two is education. And all of us, if I ask you what is the difference, otherwise, what is the meaning of these two? You would say you don't find any big difference in between. In your career, be clear. Qualification is totally different from education. It has a different definition. Let me tell you what it is. Qualification is some skill that a university could give you that you can use. Qualification is some set of skill a university or a college can teach you that you can use to trade your time for money. You sell your time for money. If you spend 1 day, you have a price. If you spend 1 month, you have a price. If you spend 1 hour, you have a price. That is what the qualification is about. And the education is not about that. Education is giving you some set of skill that you can trade value for money or result for money. Let me explain that to you using an example here. A doctor, he is an orthopedic surgeon. He can fix your broken leg. Now, when you see the doctor would tell you, I look at scratches. Now I give you a deal. I give you a result. I sell the value here. I tell you, come to the hospital tomorrow. I will fix your leg. In 1 week time, you throw your clutches and you would be kicking a football from the middle to the next and goalpost in a ground. And for that, the prize is this. This is what education is about. And he's not selling his time here. You never ask him how long he could spend and what is the price of an hour of you. It is not the deal. The deal is about, I give you the result, I give you the value. You will be walking without any problem as you were before. And the price is this is education. And there are qualified doctors as well. You just go there. If you have these things, he would give you some painkillers and tell you, can you go and see a doctor educated? I'm just having a qualification. I can kill the pain for the short term. I can't give you the result. I can't give you the value. I can't sort your things out. There are doctors that way as well. This is why you see doctors, multi-billionaires having 625-digit dollar account, and whereas there are doctors walking to the hospital every single day to stay from the morning till night to get some salary at the end of the month because they are qualified. Okay, and there's another difference in here: the qualification that make you the slave to the money and make the money the master. The money is the master. Money tells you, it's like this: I pay this, do this work. Qualification make you the slave to the money and make the money the master. And the education that make you the master and the money the slave. Okay, if you have the education, if you want to come to the class, come to the class. Otherwise, get out. If you want to come to my lectures, pay me this or no, don't. If you want to get a treatment, if you want to walk, this is the price. Otherwise, no. This is education. Okay. So what I say is this: education that make deals with your customer. Make deals with your customer. You and your customers are in the same level. It makes deal. I pay you money, you pay me money, I give you this. That is the deal. And the qualification is begging the money from the boss. You keep your hand, the boss count the money and give it. That is qualification. So I'm not discouraging the qualification here. You need to have the qualification. You go to a university, get a qualification. You need that for many reasons. You have to. What I say is qualification alone is not enough. You would only develop a career if you are based on qualification to work for a company for 45 years and retire gray-headed. Qualification. But if you want to retire early, if you want to build your balance in your bank account, you got to be educated. So my message is qualifications are important to start your life with, but don't end your learning at the end of the qualification. You got to continuously forever educate yourself. Let's go further. This is the message. Now, it is from Mark Twain, the father of American literature. He said, I never let my schooling interfere with my education. Now, when I say education and school, in our understanding, school is providing education. In his understanding, school has nothing to do with the education. That's what I learned from another doctor, Dr. Haig. He said school takes the genius inside when they're entering into the school for the grade 1, and they make those genius into idiot when they get out from the school. And I am not discouraging to avoid school, but the school is not going to educate you. That is your responsibility to educate yourself. And that is when you can develop your career very comfortably. So now look at this. Again, the same way, if you get some qualification that guarantees you a piece of paper at the end of your career, and it gives you a job, and the job doesn't pay you the money you want, and that job is not guaranteed either. Okay, and we call this slavery career. And on the other side, I'm having something called lifestyle career, where you can sell the value. You can be a self-employed personnel, or maybe on your own, alone, solopreneur, or otherwise you can employ people to work for you as well as an entrepreneur. If you work on your employment, on your qualification alone, you become a corporate prisoner. Corporate prisoner. You are in the corporate jail, meaning you have certain independence inside. They guarantee you the 3 times meals. And that is it. No more growth. And that is what these universities guarantee you. Let me share one experience that I have. I have learned from 5 universities for my 4 masters, 1 degree and PhD, altogether 5 different universities, one from a local and the rest of the 4 from the UK. All these 5 universities taught me masters in different areas: education, law, business, and psychology. And I've never learned anything from this university, how to be a boss. All of these universities told me or taught me how to be an employee. That's my own experience. On the other side, I have been teaching for 3 universities for over the last 8 years, since 2013 till now. So it's almost 8 years. I'm teaching for 3 different universities for master's level, and the current university I'm teaching for, I teach 5 subjects out of 6 subjects. I don't teach all of it, but I have the capacity to teach 5 subjects out of 6 subjects. All of these subjects I have been teaching, I've never seen any subject that teaches you to be a boss and make the money the slave. They all teach you how to find a job. So the point is, no one can teach something which they don't know. Let's say I don't know IT. How can I teach you IT? I can't. Most of these universities, they don't know how to make a personal, a master, money the slave to him. So they can't teach you that. So the message, you have to learn, educate yourself to be the master and make the money the slave. Then you would have your lifestyle career where you would be having automatic money coming in. Money is everything in most of the lives, and I disagree with that, but money is major in life. I agree with that. Money is major. Because, you know, you have to make money. Sometimes money talks, you know. Money has talked to me many times. I think it has talked to you as well. Yeah, yes, you have experiences, right? Money talks sometimes. So you need to make the money. To make the money, you can't be the slave to the money. That is the key here. So we educate ourselves to be that way. Let me come to the final area of tonight. Look at this, the cost of being an employee. That is what I'm calling cost of the slavery career is very much greater than the cost of lifestyle career. Let me explain this to you. Now, if you are a personal working for an organization as an employee, you have many costs. Number one is you are losing 40 plus hours a week of your highly productive time for someone for a tiny salary, big cost. 40 plus hours per week of your highly productive time for someone for a tiny salary, high cost. You lose lots of your valuable time that you could spend with your family, biggest cost. You miss the staff, the parents staff meeting at your school of your kids. You miss to accompany your wife or partner to the hospital for a clinic. You send one of her family members with her or with him because you're busy with your boss in a business meeting. These are all costs. Okay. And what is the price of this? You do this for 45 years of your life. What is the price of this? Okay. On the other side, if you really work on your lifestyle career, you would be sleeping and the money would be pumping into your account. You would be sleeping, people are depositing money into your company account. You would be sleeping, people are working. This is what I'm calling lifestyle career. Okay, so this is what the key is. What the key. And it has the cost, I don't say no, but comparatively, that is much less than this. If I take a different example here, let me tell you this. If you study your A-levels, you study for 2 years, pass your A-levels, enter into the medical faculty, become a doctor. That is the cost of being a doctor. And on the other side, if you fail that, what happens is you have to study for the second attempt and the third attempt. So you would spend about 4 or 5 years studying. And at the end of the third attempt, if you fail the exams and you lost your medical faculty, you lost your degree, you lost your job, you lost your life, you lost your partner, you lose many things. But the doctor, he was in your same class, he spent only 2 years full-time studies, ignoring every single other irrelevant things. That was the only investment he made. He became a doctor. And you were investing your time everywhere else, scattered, and you invest a lot, and you finally get nothing. This is what the cost of losing it. So my point is cost of failure is much, much higher than the cost of success. I'm calling lifestyle career is a success, and having a slavery career is a failure. And the cost of that is very, very much in multiple times when you compare to the lifestyle career's cost. So we start this. Nobody ever gets ready with, and nobody ever gets ready and wait. If you want to do something, you never get ready completely and wait to deliver that, wait to do that. What happens is people, they get ready by doing. Let me tell you an example to explain what I mean. Now I'm going to teach you this over the next 10, 12 weeks on different areas. When I'm teaching this, do you think I'm totally prepared for all my 12 classes? No, because I'm not ready for all 12 classes and waiting to deliver all of those. No. What I do is I get ready by doing it. I got ready to do this today. I was still adjusting some content about 5 minutes ago. And again, I'm going to read for the next whole week, and I'm going to bring some other better news than what I learned for the next week's session. So that is what the meaning. Nobody ever get ready and wait to do things, but you get ready by doing it. So the final message for you tonight is this. We all understand your career is not limited to the money, limited to the monetary area. We have to work on all the areas of life. And I'm going to teach you in this career as to what to do to develop your career in business, finance, and education. So we will get ready tonight by doing certain things from now onwards. You don't need to wait until you are ready to kick off to the new career. We'll start the career tonight and we'll get ready on the way halfway down. And that is it from me tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. Be safe, stay home, good night. I see you all next Sunday. Have a great week ahead. Thank you.